This video is going to show you how to assemble the Bull Trail e-trike. If you feel comfortable with your skills to assemble this bike by yourself, use the step-by-step assembly guide and make sure to perform all your safety checks. Your trike comes packed in two separate boxes. Box 1, front frame, battery, fender, and seat. Box 2, rear frame, front wheel, rear basket, and accessory box. Using a box cutter or scissors, remove all the straps. Remove all the items from the box. Then remove the protective packaging. Locate the accessory box that has all the hardware and tools. Assemble the stem and handlebar. Using the correct Allen wrench, remove the protective cap. Remove the white ring and dispose of it. With the spacer provided, you are able to increase or decrease the handlebar height. Attach the handlebar by inserting the stem into the tube. With the LCD controller on your left side, make sure the wire harness is not twisted. After aligning the handlebar, use the Allen wrench to tighten. Secure the handlebar by tightening the top screw with an Allen wrench. Connect the front and rear frame section. Using the 6 socket head bolts and safety nuts to connect. Bring the rear section of the bike to the front section of the bike and align the holes. Insert the bolts, making sure there's a washer on either side of the frame. You will need to adjust the chain before you fully tighten those bolts down. Using the safety nuts, tighten by hand. You will use a wrench later. Installing the front wheel. For ease of installation, flip the bike over and gently place on the handlebars. After removing the shipping axle from the front fork, loosen the nuts on the front wheel axle. For ease of installation, first loosen the caliper with your Allen wrench. Insert the wheel between the forks, making sure the disc goes into the caliper. When attaching the front wheel, make sure the disc is guided into the brake caliper. When placing the axle into the frame, make sure there is a spacer washer between the wheel and the frame. Another washer will be added before you tighten the nut down. Tighten the caliper bracket. Installing the chains. This bike comes with 2 sets of chains. First, you will install the chain motor. Load the motor chain on top of the motor sprocket and then the rear axle sprocket. Connecting both ends using the provided quick links. Push down on the chain until you hear an audible click. Double check and make sure the pin's expanded fully. Installing the gear chain. First, locate the end of the chain without a pin. Placing the chain over the small sprocket of the cassette, then lowering it down the derailleur. The chain goes under the small sprocket and over the back sprocket. Pulling down the chain. Very important, make sure to pass the chain through the frame before connecting the ends together. When attaching the 2 ends together, you'll hear a click. Using the chain breaker, push the pin down on the chain by twisting down on the chain breaker. Stretch the chain so the derailleur lowers, giving you enough room to go over the chain wheel. Make sure that both front frame and rear frame are flush when tightening the 6 head bolts down. Now it's time to tighten the 6 socket head bolts and safety nuts that connect the rear frame and front sections of the frame. Using wrench number 17 and an Allen wrench, tighten the bolts that connect the frame. Adjusting the shifter cable. To start the process, click the shifter in the 7th gear position. Then insert the shrouded section of the cable into the shifter housing. Then push the bare metal section in as well. Finding the end of the shifter cable. Insert the bare metal cable end into the derailleur cable adjustment barrel. And then through the cable anchor bolt. Tighten the security nut with a number 9 wrench. Crimp the end cap of the shifter cable. To stretch the shifter cable, turn the cable adjustment barrel counterclockwise. Turn the barrel until the silver section is exposed. The right adjustment screw will adjust the low gear. The left adjustment screw will adjust the high gear. Use the basket to raise the rear wheels off the ground. This will allow the wheels to spin freely while you calibrate the gear shifter. Brakes. Make sure the brake cable is inserted in the adjustment screw and turn the screw clockwise completely. Insert the brake cable through the adjustment screw on the brake caliper. Then the cable passes through the cable anchor screw. To ensure the correct tension on the brake cable, pinch the caliper together, then tighten the bolt with an Allen wrench. Caliper alignment. With the caliper bolts loose, center the disc with the brake pads, then tighten the caliper bolts. Using the zip ties to secure the cables. If needed for further brake adjustment, turn the adjustment screw counterclockwise. Front fender and headlight. Locate the front fender and headlight from the accessory box. Attach the fender bracket arm to the front fender using proper hardware. After attaching the fender brackets to the fender, it's time to attach the fenders to the rear basket. At this point, don't completely tighten the safety nuts. You may need to adjust the fender height after attaching the rear basket. Bring the fender and headlight together. Using the long head bolt, pass the bolt through the light and fender bracket, then thread and tighten the bolt to the frame using an Allen wrench. Attach the fender bracket arm to the fork using a Phillips screwdriver and proper hardware. You have the option to install the headlight on the fender or the basket. When tightening up the headlight, make sure to adjust the light so it illuminates the road ahead of you, so that it does not disturb oncoming traffic. Connect the headlight cable. Line up the external arrows and push it together without twisting. Rear fender and rear basket. Remove the safety nuts and the washers from the bolts that are attached to the bottom of the rear basket. Aligning the bolts to the frame, allow the basket to rest on the frame. Secure the rear basket to the frame using the safety nuts and tighten using the Allen wrench. You can choose to use black or chrome screws for the fender. Front basket. Remove the 4 bolts and washers from the frame using the Allen wrench. Gathering the wires, place them into the center space of the frame bracket. Begin to attach the bolts and washers by hand. Tighten the bolts using the Allen wrench in an X pattern. Rear tail lights. Remove the 2 bolts that come attached to the rear light. Realign the bolts through the rear light tail bracket and secure using the proper wrench. Connect the 2-pin cable by aligning the arrows that are on the cable and push together without twisting. To remove the slack from the cable, bundle and attach the cable to the frame using a zip tie. Assembling the seat. Loosen but do not remove the bolt from the seat post clamp. Attach the clamp to the seat rail by spinning the clamp by 90 degrees. This allows the clamp to pass in the seat rail. Spin the clamp again, which allows the clamp to capture the rail. Shift the clamp on the rail to the desired position and tighten the clamp. Open the quick release seat clamp and insert the seat into the seat tube. Adjust the seat height so that when you're sitting on the trike, your legs can fully extend. Close the quick release seat clamp fully. For your comfort, adjust the low back support using the twist lock. Pedals. Find the appropriate pedal. Each pedal comes with a sticker identifying right or left. Careful when threading the pedal into the crank. The left pedal is tightened by going counterclockwise, the right pedal by going clockwise. Battery installation. Before you insert the battery, activate the battery by pressing the red button located underneath. Also, you can check the battery charge level by pressing and holding the button on the top. Slide the batteries all the way back until you hear it click. Turn the key into the on position, then remove the key. Power cord. Find the cable ends and connect by following the arrow directions. Powering up the bike. Press and hold the middle button for 3 seconds until you see the LCD screen turn on. Cycle through the pedal assist levels by using the up and down buttons. Lights on and off. To turn your headlights on, press and hold the arrow up button until the light comes on. To turn the lights off, press the up arrow again and the lights will turn off. Adjust the handlebar to the right angle and tighten the bolts down to make sure it's tight. And always use a helmet. Enjoy the ride with a Mojo.